Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Monday, May 30th here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Broom. We are going to start with President Park Geun-hye's trip to East Africa. And after summit talks, Uganda's president announced on Sunday that his country, traditionally a close ally of North Korea, will completely halt all military cooperation with Pyongyang to comply with international sanctions on the regime. Our presidential office correspondent Song Ji-son reports from Kampala.
A landmark announcement that may lead other North Korean allies to follow suit. At summit talks with President Park Geun-hye, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni vowed to fully implement the UN sanctions on North Korea, including cooperation in the areas of security, military, and police, saying that the UN Security Council resolutions are widely supported by the international community.
Uganda has been friendly to North Korea, but it's starting to fully implement the UN sanctions on Pyongyang, and even encourage other African nations to join the move.
Museveni has visited North Korea 3 times himself, and Uganda has been considered a key ally in Africa for Pyongyang. But Uganda came out against North Korea's nuclear development in March, and President Museveni has often pointed to South Korea as an ideal example of economic development, hailing the Haemal-Eundong rural development model implemented by President Park's father, Park Chung-hee. At Sunday's summit, the two leaders also agreed to enhance practical cooperation. Uganda is a key nation to entering Africa, as it is a member of the free trade blocs like the East African Community and the Tripartite Free Trade Area. In addition to building Uganda's infrastructure and boosting bilateral trade, Seoul will also share its experience in high-tech areas ranging from content production to disease management. After sharing the common stance of pressing North Korea to denuclearize, Presidents Park and Museveni will meet again at the launch of Korea Aid on Monday, Seoul's new official development assistance program, which offers mobile health care, food and cultural services will reach rural areas across Uganda. Song Ji-son, Arirang News, Kampala.
Now, President Park Geun-hye, who is on her last day in Uganda, watched cultural performances from both countries on Sunday, including a b-boy dance, a taekwondo performance and a traditional dance from Uganda. During the event, President Park said the two countries should look forward to further cooperation in the cultural sector, as both Korea and Uganda have many things in common. Now, here's what a local paper there, New Vision, had to say about Korea's Haemal-Eundong. It says Uganda should adopt Korea's development model to achieve its own development goals. According to an article published on Sunday, Haemal-Eundong could be, quote, an effective development model from the perspective of poverty reduction. It reported that nearly 600 Ugandan officials received customized on-site training in Korea through the end of 2015. The officials learned about the Korean development model, which grew out of a national movement to fight poverty based on the principles of education, diligence, self-reliance and mutual cooperation. A sub-county chief in Uganda said their own Haemal-Eundong action plan improved villagers' living standards and productivity. Now, President Park's visit to East Africa is expected to both boost diplomatic ties and also ramp up business cooperation with the region. For more on what opportunities Uganda may offer Korea, KiMoons reports.
Dubbed the Pearl of Africa, Uganda is known for its beautiful scenery and abundant water resources. Its core industry is agriculture, with more than 70% of the working population involved, and exports of coffee and tea are some of the main sources of cash for the country. Recently, oil is being discovered, with an estimated 8 billion barrels to be retrieved.
Uganda has a very great agricultural potential. It has the most fertile land in Africa and also abundance of water resources. So that makes Uganda quite a promising country for commercial farming.
Despite being one of the world's poorest countries with GDP per capita at roughly $700, it's achieved steady economic growth in the 5 to 7% range. All in all, its GDP has more than doubled in the past 10 years. Now it's seeking to become a middle-income nation by 2040 and hopes to shift away from agriculture to manufacturing and services, as well as pull up its income per capita to $9,500. South Korea and Uganda established economic ties in 1963, but haven't been able to develop their relations much beyond that due to Uganda's friendly relationship with North Korea. So, economic ties between South Korea and Uganda have been close to non-existent. In recent years, bilateral trade has been on the rise, but still just a fraction of Seoul's total trade volume. However, with the president's visit and Uganda's growing interest in Korea's Semaul-Undong, experts say it may be able to give relations between the countries a shot in the arm.
Most African countries have a positive view of South Korea for its efforts to become an economic power from the ruins of war. They want to learn from this, so it's expected that we'll be able to bring about mutual achievements in agriculture and manufacturing down the road.
At the same time, experts caution against the potential risks. Uganda still lacks the most basic infrastructure, with the majority of the country suffering from electricity shortages, and there are concerns about the political risks that could prevent companies from doing business. Experts say rather than approach the country directly, Korea should seek to expand ties with the East African Community, a group of 5 African nations that includes Uganda, to make inroads into the nation. KiMoons, Arirang News.
Now, one major challenge Uganda faces is providing its citizens with clean water, as Minji touched upon in her report. For a look at ways Korea has been trying to help, from government organisations to private companies and individuals, Kwon Jang-ho reports.
Uganda's capital, Kampala, is a hustle and bustle of cars, high-rise buildings and modern facilities. But step out of the city and it's a very different picture. Lacking basic infrastructure, even the simplest necessities can be hard to come by. 8 million people, or roughly 20% of Uganda's population, do not have access to safe water. In Korea, charities such as Habitat Korea have been looking to raise awareness and find ways to help alleviate the problem. A water-carrying campaign was launched to highlight the long journeys that many Ugandans, mostly women and children, have to make every day to collect water.
We wanted to highlight that not only do they have little access to clean water, the long times children spend collecting water means it takes away from their time for education as well.
One private Korean citizen who saw this issue and took it upon himself to help was Park Jung-yeol. As a student, he spent time in Uganda and experienced firsthand some of the difficulties Ugandans go through.
When I was living there for 2 months, my health deteriorated. When I went to the hospital to find out what was wrong, they said it was from using and drinking unclean water for a long time and catching waterborne diseases. That's when it really hit me, how important water is, and that so many suffer because they don't have it.
Literally inspired by the jerry cans that were used by locals to carry water, he set up a company selling backpacks. Profits go towards providing local children with bags specially designed to carry 10-litre jerry cans. Some are even locally produced to provide employment for local women.
I'm not suggesting we can change the world with a backpack, but if we can make a little difference and make it easier for them, it will be worthwhile.
Water issues mean agriculture also faces difficulties in Uganda, and Korea is trying to help on that front as well. The Asan City Agricultural Technology Center, along with KOICA, Korea's official aid agency, has established a program aimed at helping African partners develop their agricultural know-how.
I have seen the irrigation system in Korea here is very effective. The pipeline has moved from garden to garden, and it allows them to produce at any time that they are ready to. But back in Uganda, we depend on the rain. We only have to wait for God to send us rain.
This particular course runs for 2 months, teaching those taking part agricultural science, practical skills, and the latest technologies. These programs offer the participants a chance to learn effective and efficient farming techniques. It's about sharing knowledge, and it's one of the most valuable things Korea can offer.
The program is so good. We have liked the program. It is both theoretical and practical. We have learned things on farm. We have learned things in class, and what we have learned from here, we can copy and take back the same technologies so that they can help our poor farmers produce from subsistence level to commercial level so that we can fight poverty at household level.
South Korea, as a nation that rose out of poverty after colonial rule and war, is looking to give back, from government organizations to private citizens, offering a helping hand, big or small, to Uganda and other countries around the world. Hwanjang-woo, Arirang News.
Now, in the rest of the day's news, there will be a changing of the political guard today as Korea opens its 20th National Assembly. The new assembly is set to take over more than 10,000 pending bills from the previous parliament. Ahead of the day, the rival parties revealed a set of bills they will seek to propose at the new assembly. The ruling Saenuri Party said it will focus on 9 bills centred on youth policies, labour reforms and regional industries. The main opposition Minju Party of Korea will focus on 8 bills, including ones on the oxy-toxic humidifier sterilizer scandal and the 2014 Seoul-Ho ferry sinking. The minor opposition People's Party will concentrate on economic issues such as tax law revision and unemployment. The UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon's visit to a folk village in Korea over the weekend is adding fuel to rumours about his possible presidential aspirations. His trip to the Hwahhae village is being seen as the start of his presidential campaign because this part of Korea, Gyeongsang-buk-do province, is the traditional stronghold of the ruling Saenuri Party. Many in the ruling camp have come to see Ban as a shining beacon of hope, especially after last month's crushing general election defeat. Now, aside from touring the folk village and planting a tree there, the UN chief held a luncheon with key officials, including the provincial governor and Saenuri Party members, but their discussions reportedly did not actually revolve around local politics in any way. On Sunday evening, Ban arrived in Gyeongju to attend a UN conference. A committee dedicated to setting up a foundation for the Korean victims of Japan's wartime sex slavery is set to start work this week. Citing an unnamed source familiar with the matter, Seoul-based Yonhap News Agency reports that the committee will be launched on Tuesday. The members will lay the groundwork to ensure the compensation measures for the victims are fully implemented. Now, under the deal, Japan pledged to donate $9 million to the foundation, which it will also help set up. The committee will be comprised of 10 experts, including officials from Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. The group will determine the foundation's direction and discuss logistical matters regarding the payment. Now, one of the Korean government's creative economy initiatives is encouraging young people in Korea to make something out of nothing by setting up their own businesses. To help them turn ideas into viable business models, the government has been running startup programs throughout the country. Oh Soo-young with the details.
It's been said that every generation needs a revolution.
청년들이야말로 바로 대한민국의 미래입니다. 창의적 사고와 혁신적 도전 정신이 우리 경제 전반으로 확산되도록 하는 것도 매우 중요한 과제입니다.
Throughout her term in office, President Park Geun-hye has pushed for the creation of policies and programs to support young people and their entrepreneurial aspirations. One of these is the Youth Startup Academy, set up in 2011 to train aspiring entrepreneurs under 39 years of age.
Students are provided with our one-stop assistance during all stages of creating a business, from product development to marketing, as well as grants of up to 70% of their business expenses.
The Academy has produced more than 1,200 business leaders in the past 5 years, creating almost 5,000 jobs through the companies they've started. The government is also working with big players in the private sector to support youth startups. One example is the e-commerce Dream project, co-organised by Korea's biggest online portal, Naver. It helps participants set up online retail businesses on Naver's e-commerce platform, with step-by-step tutorials on designing and managing their shops and marketing their products. There were roughly 700 participants last year, and almost half of them went on to launch their own businesses.
The project helps participants practice setting up an online business from start to finish. We hope this will make them realize that it doesn't have to be a difficult process, and developing good products based on original ideas can succeed without huge amounts of money.
These are just a few of the government's programmes helping young people turn their ideas into ventures. Through these efforts, the number of young entrepreneurs has grown over the years. And with the government's incubation centres, start-up programmes and support, growing your own company has never been easier. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Well, on that note, that's where we're going to leave it on this Monday morning here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Thank you as always for watching. We'll be back throughout the day with more newscasts. So until then, goodbye.